What if I told you that many serious brain emergencies don't arrive without warning? In fact, for a surprising number of people, the body sends signals beforehand. The problem is that these signals are often brief, confusing, and easy to dismiss. A person may notice something unusual for a few minutes, feel normal again, and assume everything is fine. That assumption can be dangerous. Today's discussion is about recognizing important neurological warning signs that deserve immediate medical attention, especially for adults over the age of 55. We're going to talk about what these warning signs can look like, why they happen, and why even symptoms that disappear quickly should never be ignored. Most importantly, we'll discuss what actions may help protect your health if something unusual occurs. Before we begin, let me ask you a question. Have you ever experienced a strange episode that lasted only a few minutes? Maybe you suddenly felt off balance. Maybe your speech felt different. Maybe part of your body didn't feel quite right. If so, share your age and where you're watching from in the comments below. Now let's begin. Many people imagine a major neurological event as something that appears instantly and without any prior clues. One moment, everything is normal. The next moment, everything changes. While that certainly can happen, the reality is often more complicated. Sometimes the body provides warning signs before a more serious event develops. These warning episodes may be brief. They may come and go. And because they disappear, many people convince themselves that nothing important happened. But temporary symptoms can still be meaningful. To understand why, let's take a closer look at what happens inside the body over time. The blood vessels that supply the brain work continuously every second of every day. They deliver oxygen and nutrients that brain cells depend upon to function properly. When these vessels are healthy, blood flows smoothly and efficiently. However, over many years, factors such as elevated blood pressure, smoking, diabetes, inactivity, and other health conditions may gradually affect blood vessel health. Changes do not happen overnight. They develop slowly, year after year. As blood vessels become less healthy, blood flow may become more vulnerable to temporary interruptions. When a brief interruption occurs, certain areas of the brain may not receive the blood supply they need for a short period of time. The result can be temporary neurological symptoms. The key word is temporary. The symptom appears, then it disappears. And because it disappears, many people move on with their day. But that temporary event may be a signal that deserves immediate evaluation. Let's talk about some of the most important warning signs. Warning sign. Number 1. Changes in the face. One of the earliest signs may involve the muscles of the face. Imagine looking in the mirror one morning. You smile and notice something feels unusual. Perhaps one side of your face doesn't seem to move quite the same way. Maybe there is a sensation of heaviness. Maybe speaking feels slightly different. Sometimes these changes are subtle enough that only the individual notices them. Other times, a spouse or family member points them out. The important thing is that the change appears suddenly, not gradually over months, not something you've had for years. A sudden change, even if it improves within minutes. A simple self-check can be helpful. Smile. Raise both eyebrows. Say a complete sentence out loud. If something suddenly feels different or uneven, that deserves attention, especially if the change appears without a clear explanation. Now let's move to another warning sign that often catches people by surprise. Warning sign number 2. Sudden weakness in one arm. Most of us have experienced an arm falling asleep after sitting in an awkward position. That is common. This is different. Imagine sitting comfortably and suddenly noticing that one arm feels unusually heavy or difficult to move. Perhaps lifting a cup feels harder than it should. Perhaps the arm feels weak for no obvious reason. What makes this warning sign important is that it typically affects one side, not both, and it often appears unexpectedly. Some people describe it as heaviness. Others describe it as weakness. Others notice unusual tingling. The exact sensation may vary from person to person. What matters is the sudden onset. And once again, the symptom may improve after a short period of time. That improvement should never be used as proof that everything is fine. Temporary symptoms can still be important. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for symptoms to return before seeking medical advice. Now, here's something interesting. This warning sign becomes even more significant when it appears alongside another symptom we're about to discuss. Warning sign number 3. Difficulty speaking or understanding words. This is one of the most unsettling experiences a person can have. You know exactly what you want to say, but the words don't come out correctly. Or perhaps someone is speaking to you and their words suddenly seem difficult to understand. Some people describe it as confusion. Others describe it as feeling mentally disconnected for a few moments. The important feature is the sudden change. One moment, communication feels normal. The next moment, something feels off. And then, just as quickly, everything returns to normal. Because the episode is brief, many people blame fatigue, stress, distraction, or aging. But sudden changes involving speech or language should always be taken seriously, especially when they appear without a clear explanation. Before we continue to the next warning signs, take a moment and let me know in the comments, which symptom would concern you the most? Changes in facial movement, arm weakness, or speech difficulties? In the next section, we're going to discuss warning signs involving vision, balance, and coordination, symptoms that many adults mistakenly attribute to normal aging even when they deserve immediate medical attention. Now let's continue with 2 warning signs that are frequently misunderstood. Many adults assume these symptoms are related to tiredness, stress, aging, or simply having an off day. But in some situations, they may deserve much closer attention. Warning sign number 4, sudden changes in vision. Vision changes can appear in several different ways. Some people notice that one eye suddenly seems darker than normal. Others experience blurred vision. Some report temporary double vision. And occasionally, people describe a strange sensation where part of their visual field seems missing. The key factor is not necessarily the exact symptom. The key factor is that it appears suddenly. One moment your vision seems normal, the next moment something changes. Then a few minutes later, everything appears normal again. Because vision problems become more common as we age, many people automatically assume they need a new prescription or that their eyes are simply tired. And while eye-related causes certainly exist, sudden vision changes should never be ignored. Your eyes and your brain work together as part of the same system. When unusual visual symptoms appear unexpectedly, they deserve prompt medical evaluation, particularly if they occur alongside other neurological symptoms. Imagine noticing vision changes and difficulty speaking at the same time, or vision changes and weakness on one side of the body. Those combinations become significantly more concerning. Which brings us to warning sign number 5. Warning sign number 5. Sudden balance problems. This may be one of the most overlooked warning signs of all. A person is walking through a familiar room. Nothing unusual is happening. Then suddenly they feel unsteady. Perhaps they drift slightly to one side. Perhaps they reach for a wall or piece of furniture. Sometimes there is a sensation of spinning. Other times, people simply feel that their coordination is not functioning normally. What makes balance-related symptoms challenging is that many different conditions can cause dizziness, dehydration, inner ear problems, medication side effects, low blood sugar, and many other issues. However, there are situations where balance problems deserve immediate attention. One example is when they appear suddenly and unexpectedly. Another is when they occur together with symptoms such as weakness, speech changes, numbness, or visual disturbances. The brain regions responsible for coordination and balance depend on a healthy blood supply, just like every other area of the brain. When something interferes with that blood supply, coordination can be affected. And once again, the symptom may not last long. This is one reason people often dismiss these episodes. The symptom disappears. Life goes on. The warning is forgotten. But temporary symptoms still matter. In fact, many healthcare professionals pay particularly close attention to sudden neurological symptoms that resolve on their own, because they may provide an opportunity to identify problems before a more serious event occurs. Now let's talk about something extremely important: the combination effect. Many people focus on individual symptoms, but healthcare professionals often pay close attention to patterns. Imagine experiencing temporary arm weakness by itself. That deserves attention. Now imagine experiencing arm weakness and difficulty speaking at the same time. The level of concern increases significantly. Or imagine balance problems combined with facial changes, or vision changes combined with unusual numbness. When multiple neurological symptoms appear together, even briefly, they should never be ignored. The brain functions through highly specialized regions. Different symptoms can sometimes point toward different areas being affected. That is why combinations matter. And this brings us to one of the most important concepts in today's discussion: time. Many people make the mistake of waiting. They tell themselves, "I'll see how I feel tomorrow. If it comes back, then I'll call someone. It already went away, so it probably wasn't serious." Unfortunately, waiting can sometimes eliminate opportunities for early intervention. When unusual neurological symptoms occur, healthcare professionals may be able to perform evaluations that help identify potential risk factors and guide future treatment decisions. The earlier a concern is investigated, the more options may be available. That's why sudden neurological symptoms deserve prompt attention, even if they improve. Now let's take a step back and talk about why these issues become more common as we grow older. Understanding the bigger picture. As we age, our blood vessels naturally change. They become less flexible than they were decades earlier. Years of wear and tear gradually affect the cardiovascular system. This does not mean serious problems are inevitable. Far from it. Many people maintain excellent health well into their later years. However, it does mean that paying attention to risk factors becomes increasingly important. Blood pressure, blood sugar, physical activity, smoking status, nutrition, sleep quality, stress management. These factors influence overall vascular health over time. The changes usually occur gradually, which is why prevention matters so much. Healthy habits practiced consistently over many years can make a meaningful difference. This is also why routine medical checkups remain important. Many risk factors develop silently. A person may feel perfectly normal while underlying changes are occurring. Regular monitoring helps identify concerns before symptoms develop, and that proactive approach can be incredibly valuable. Before we continue, I'd like to ask you another question. When was the last time you had a full health checkup that included blood pressure and blood sugar testing? Leave your answer in the comments. Sometimes these conversations encourage people to schedule appointments they've been postponing. In the next section, we'll discuss practical conversations to have with your healthcare provider, what information may be useful to gather, and the steps that can help adults take a more active role in protecting long-term brain health. Now let's focus on practical steps, because information is only useful when it helps us make better decisions. If you have ever experienced any of the warning signs we discussed today, even if they occurred months ago and never returned, it may be worth bringing them up during your next medical appointment. Many people assume that because a symptom disappeared, it no longer matters. But healthcare professionals often learn important information from episodes that happened in the past. A brief event that seemed insignificant at the time may provide valuable clues about overall vascular health. One useful strategy is keeping a simple record. If an unusual symptom occurs, write down what happened, when it happened, how long it lasted, what you were doing at the time, and whether any other symptoms occurred alongside it. These details may be extremely helpful during medical evaluation. Another important step is discussing risk factors openly with your healthcare provider. Many adults know whether they have high blood pressure or diabetes, but fewer people understand how strongly those conditions can influence long-term vascular health when they are not well managed. Regular monitoring allows problems to be identified and addressed earlier, and early action is often far easier than responding to a major health event later. Let's also talk about heart rhythm. Many people are surprised to learn that certain irregular heart rhythms can increase the risk of circulation-related problems. Sometimes these rhythm changes come and go. A person may not notice them at all. Others experience occasional fluttering sensations or unusual awareness of their heartbeat. Because these episodes can be intermittent, they may not always be detected during a routine office visit. This is one reason healthcare providers sometimes recommend additional monitoring when appropriate. The goal is not to create anxiety. The goal is awareness. When risk factors are identified, they can often be managed more effectively, and that management may reduce future complications. Now let's discuss something equally important. What should you do if symptoms occur? The first recommendation is simple. Do not ignore them, even if they improve, even if they disappear, even if you feel embarrassed about overreacting. It is always better to have a concerning symptom evaluated and discover that everything is fine than to dismiss something important. The second recommendation is to seek immediate medical attention if symptoms are sudden, significant, or involve neurological changes. Healthcare professionals have access to tools that can help determine what is happening. The sooner an evaluation occurs, the more information may be available. The third recommendation is communication. Tell someone, a spouse, a family member, a friend. Do not keep the experience to yourself. When people face health concerns alone, delays become more likely. Support systems matter, and sometimes another person recognizes the seriousness of a situation when we are tempted to minimize it ourselves. Let's shift gears for a moment. I want to talk about prevention, because while recognizing warning signs is important, protecting long-term brain health is even better. The foundation of brain health. Many of the habits that support brain health are surprisingly familiar. Regular physical activity, nutritious meals, managing blood pressure, managing blood sugar, avoiding tobacco, maintaining a healthy weight, getting adequate sleep, staying socially connected. These habits may not sound dramatic. They won't generate flashy headlines, but they are powerful. The brain depends on healthy circulation, and healthy circulation depends on the choices we make repeatedly over time. Think of it like maintaining a home. Small repairs performed consistently help prevent major problems later. Health often works the same way. One healthy meal won't transform everything. One walk won't change your future. But years of healthy choices can have a remarkable cumulative effect. And here's something I want every viewer over 55 to remember. It is never too late to improve your habits. Many people believe the opportunity has passed, that if they didn't start earlier, there is no point now. That simply isn't true. Positive changes can occur at any age. Every step toward better health matters. Every improvement counts. Every healthy decision is an investment in the future version of yourself. Before we finish, let's quickly review the 5 warning signs we discussed today. Sudden facial changes or drooping, unexpected weakness on one side of the body, difficulty speaking or understanding language, sudden vision changes, unexpected balance problems or coordination difficulties. Remember, a symptom that disappears can still be important. A brief event can still deserve medical attention, and combinations of symptoms are often more concerning than a single symptom alone. Most importantly, don't wait and hope. When unusual neurological symptoms appear, seeking prompt medical evaluation is one of the smartest decisions a person can make. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of today's warning signs surprised you the most? Was it the facial changes, the speech difficulties, the vision symptoms, or the balance problems that so many people mistakenly attribute to normal aging? Leave your answer in the comments below. Your experience may help another viewer become more aware of symptoms they should not ignore. If you found today's discussion helpful, consider subscribing to the channel. Every week we share practical information about healthy aging, prevention, mobility, brain health, and maintaining independence as the years go by. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of yourself. Pay attention to your body. Stay informed. And remember that awareness today can help protect your health tomorrow. I'll see you in the next video.